Welcome to Animates, a retro anime review comedy podcast. Join our resident anime nerd Mackenzie and anime noob Lindsey as they delve into their VHS vault and review the best and worst of what the 80s and 90s had to offer. These episodes contain spoilers and adult language, so stick around if you're cool like that.
Oh my gosh. Hi, hello. Welcome everybody to your favorite anime review podcast. We're glad you made it back. I know that sounded insincere.
I was going to say, where did they go?
I don't know. Where did they go?
Back to the future.
Oh, we gotta go back, Marty.
Okay.
That was my Christopher Lloyd, in case you didn't know.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Super good.
Yeah. Speaking of science fiction, do you remember when we watched the show Love, Death, and Robots?
No.
Did we not watch it together?
I've been criticized for never watching it before, so it definitely wasn't me.
Then what ex did I watch the show with?
You still talk to your other exes?
What? You're friends with all of them as well? Yeah, I have other podcasts with them.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Okay, well that ruins my intro for this.
No, I've never seen a single part of that series.
Okay, well the thing that we're gonna watch this week is feels like the prototype for that in terms of like just a bunch of episodic little vignettes that animators do that revolve around the main theme of robots.
Okay, but no sex or love.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So this was called the Animation Event of the Year in 1987.
That's a big claim.
Yeah, well, it is 9 shorts, and it was just basically a company being like, going into different animators and stuff like that, being like, make us a short. You can do whatever you want.
How short? How long am I about to be watching?
Okay, so they're about 10 minutes each, because it's about an hour and a half movie.
Okay, I thought I was about to be spending like 9 hours watching like a bunch of 45-minute.
No. They're just like, they're little animated shorts all revolving around the theme of robots.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really cool. And there's like a lot of cool different anime legends that worked on it. Katsuhiro Otomo, who is the writer of Akira. I mean, technically 2 parts for it. And Blood the Last Vampire, the director Hiroyuki Kitakubo also does some stuff for it. And like the music is done by Ghibli's main composer guy. So there's like a lot of cool people on it. And I think you'll really enjoy this series.
Are they shorts like OVAs that match up, or is it like literal standalone stories?
They're just each standalone stories.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Standalone stories about robots.
Yes. So this movie is called Robot Carnival.
Robot Carnival.
Yes.
I'm going to look up an image of this because I'm curious. This looks like Monty Python.
Yeah, it kind of has very Gilliam-esque vibes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard of this. I don't know what it is. I see a lot of humans in these images for a show about robots, so I'll trust you it's about robots.
He's like, well, why don't you watch it and find out?
Maybe I will. I kind of have to.
Yeah, you kind of do.
If I don't, then we don't have the rest of this episode.
Oh, shoot.
We're just going to have a 4-minute
intro
and that's it. All right, we'll be off to watch it. And just nothing.
Yeah.
Dead silence for the next 50 minutes.
Oh, man. We are like most listened to episode.
My favorite part was when they stopped fucking talking.
Oh, man.
Just hearing the silence of the room was just heaven on your ears.
I really loved all of that dead air. All right. Well, we're going to run away now and we're going to go watch this movie. And we will be back after we watched Robot Carnival. Well, beep boop, we're back. How'd you find that, Mackenzie?
All right, first off, when I first turned this on, I was so fucking mad at you.
And why were you mad at me?
Who in their right mind thought that using a robotic Alvin the Chipmunk squeaking noises for the human voices was a good idea? Thankfully, this was a one-time thing for the opening sequence, because if this whole 6-part movie was squirrely gibberish, I would have not been okay, and I would have spent the next hour and a half hunting for the worst possible thing to give you next week instead of taking notes.
Well, I'm glad it was just that one part for the opening.
But this turned out to be pretty sweet. At times, there was a lot of really intense 80s vibes that I was really into across this.
Oh, yeah.
Stunning animation. Oh my God.
And the fact that it's all hand-drawn. The fact that the animation is hand-drawn is insane. And yeah, the music, I mean, it's Miyazaki's go-to composer, so why are we surprised that the music is so good?
So good. I need the tracks on Spotify. I can't seem to find them. I think they're on YouTube, but whatnot. But I want them on my phone because some of them are so good. Some of them are not, but some of them are so good.
Some of them are a bop.
Also, because there is no named characters, so only 2 of the episodes actually have a bit of dialogue in them, I don't have to worry about getting character names wrong.
Yay! Look at us go. We're not going to get any tweets about our mispronunciation of names.
It was my fault we messed up the first name on Neighborhood Story. I kept switching between Usagi and Usagi, which is a sin on our Sailor Moon episode. So I'm really glad on this one I don't have to do that.
Oh man, I'm just proud of myself for not calling her Serena.
People would have understood that at least. But since we have a handful of short stories to talk about, there's no point in reviewing overall when I can just jump right into them right now, starting with the opening.
Ooh, what a good place to start.
Starting with a young boy who finds a poster talking about the upcoming robot carnival, which causes him to freak the fuck out and run around town yelling at people, making them board themselves up. Shortly after, we get a giant robotic ship that appears in the distance, spelling out the words Robot Carnival with
it was like,
lights.
I was just going to say, it was so like Terry Gilliam looking, like just very Python-esque. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Lights and music and fireworks flying into the sky. And then a robot conductor appears and conducts a band. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? This is pretty cool. And then the trumpet players shoot rockets from their trumpets, blowing holes in the town below.
Yeah.
And then robotic ballet dancers appear, spinning around on the deck before flying off down towards the town and suicide bombing the town.
I mean, I guess that's one way of putting it.
Leaving few survivors who watch from a nearby cliff as the whole world around them is destroyed. Now, if you ignore the helium squeaks and the sulfur hexafluoride groans, which is the chemical that makes your voice get low, I will say this was a pretty hilarious and fun way to showcase the title of your project, because the literal title of the movie is built into this giant robot ship. And it very clearly makes sense that this was done by the creator of Akira.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's like, it's very fun and it's enjoyable, but it also still has that like little bit of darkness and like, you know, just the little like stabby stab of like basically technology coming and like destroying humanity.
Yeah, and also the backgrounds are done by Nizo Yamamoto, who did background work for a lot of the Ghibli films, and you can definitely see his style match up with Castle in the Sky here. I'm not sure if you've seen Castle in the Sky. If you haven't, we'll probably watch it eventually.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I have, but I've seen like Howl's Moving Castle, which is very like detailed backgrounds.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you know Howl's or not, but overall, I'd give this like a 6.5 out of 10 because of those damn voices. If we ignore the voices, probably a 7 out of 10 for the intro. I think it's very funny. I was taken aback by what I did not see coming, which was the destruction of this small town.
Always fun. When the circus comes to town, it destroys your world.
The first act of this carnival is a story called Franken Gears.
Ooh.
We start with a storm and intense cinematic music with a goofy looking mad scientist while he works in his lab. There's like all these old robot parts and gears and wreckage all around him. He's clearly been working for a long time trying to build something cool, which we see is a robot, which is on a table connected to a series of generators, slowly gathering lightning from the storm outside.
It's like a big fucking robot too.
Yeah, it's real big. It's like 10 plus feet tall.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the flick of a switch, the robot is infused with energy, assuming is like charging of some special battery.
Yeah, making it live somehow.
Yeah, based off of the title and everything going on, this is clearly a sci-fi retelling of Frankenstein.
Oh, absolutely.
Personally, my favorite Frankenstein retelling is one by Junji Ito, who you've never read, but it is a fantastic retelling. Why
would you say something like that?
I wonder. I even tried to give it to you.
Did you?
You were like,
I don't remember this.
Yes. You were at my house. We were recording once, and I was like, take this book. And you were like, I don't have time right now.
Was it maybe because I was working at the circus and also moving to a different city at the same time?
Shh.
Oh my gosh.
Regardless, that's a great one. Anyways, the system fails and the robot does not come to life. So Scientist Man is panicking and he's like flipping all these switches and turning all these gears and things are breaking. And okay.
Pop off.
I understand having no vocals in this one. It adds to the drama, the ambience of this like dark project.
Well, and it also kind of harkens back to that kind of like universal like monsters universe, like the silent film era. Yeah.
Sure. But then to have this like amazing music paired with silly gag sounds as he tosses things and runs around, boing, it pulled me out of it. I was like, okay, cool, dark little retelling, robot, this and that. And then he like throws a gear and it literally goes,
I don't know.
And I'm like,
I might disagree with you because there was like, I think because just in the way of his movements and stuff throughout the segment throughout, it kind of had that sort of campiness in it already. I don't know. It just didn't feel like out of place to me, you know, as
he
much
was
as
a
it did for you.
goofy man, but for some reason, I just like, as soon as I saw that, I was just, there is a time and a place, and this was not it.
Mac was
If there was audio and the music was less so dramatic, it would have worked. But I was sitting there waiting for like a Wilhelm scream to happen for like fuck's sake.
Oh my gosh, insert here.
Anyways, he falls to the ground defeated and he goes silent. We get this like cool black and white inverted filter.
That was so cool.
This was probably the coolest part of it because it's like this unique like posterized black and white but in reverse animation as like the robot begins to rise, his cables and gears are breaking free from the walls, and like the scientist is so giddy with joy as his creation begins to stand, and he's staring at this. It kind of cuts back to the regular animation. He's staring up at this robot and he's like, oh my boy, and he's like got his hands out and the robot mimics his hands out, and he like and it does something else and the robot mimics it, and he's like, oh, and he's kind of dancing around a bit, flailing his arms, and the robot's doing the same thing, just fucking destroying the lab, but he doesn't care.
Oh yeah, very monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, until the scientist trips on a loose cog and falls over, smiling, kissing the strange orb he's been carrying this whole bloody time. Unfortunately, the robot is still mimicking his movements and decides to turn around and fall over, crushing the scientist, destroying both himself and the scientist in the process. A little bit of irony there.
Isn't it ironic?
Don't you think? So overall, like it's a fun little take on a Frankenstein story. Nothing new in regards to storytelling, but the animation was pretty good. I'd give this a neutral 5 out of 10.
I could see that. I think I'd probably bump it up a little bit more than that because I did enjoy it. So I think I would probably do like 5.5 or a 6 for this one.
Just have to go higher than me. Okay.
It's because I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either. I gave it a neutral 5 out of 10. That's a 50%. That's a passing grade.
I'm giving it a 55.
Well, speaking of depriving it of a higher score, the next one is called Deprive, and it's probably my favorite one of all of them.
Really? Okay.
So it's fighting with another, which we'll get to. But so we start with some epic sci-fi music. Like,
oh my gosh, it's like smacking you in the face with a keytar.
Oh, like they are taking that guitar and they're not smashing it on stage. No. They have laid you out nicely on a table, garnished you with sushi while naked, and then smashed you in the face with a guitar. And as this is happening, an explosion happens as robots appear on Earth. I'm assuming they're aliens. And we see scenes of destruction followed by the kidnapping of a purple-haired girl who, of course, if you're going to be the main girl of a series, you've got to have colored hair. It's the main character syndrome. And so as this is happening, like her robot servant tries to like save her and get in the way, but he loses and she gets taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And then sad. I know, but we cut to the future. I don't know how long, a year or two, maybe 6 months. I'm not sure.
Doesn't specify.
And the music picks up again. And there's this, and there's this guy in the desert wearing like a badass like duster, and he kicks the shit out of some robots. And this dude is clearly super powered because he's just fighting these things and like powering up and like jumping all over the place. And we get this epic ass scene of robots that's full of explosions and stunning animation. For the 80s, this was wild.
Oh, it was so awesome.
I was so into it. Unfortunately, in this scene, he gets beaten and captured. And then we see him suspended in a chamber that is dampening his powers while being watched over by our villain. And I'm going to say, and I'm sure you will agree with me, this is my exact note, the most 80s ass looking villain possible.
I'm pretty sure that is also what I wrote down.
This villain looks like drag Captain Planet.
Yeah! Oh my gosh!
This villain looks like Enzo from later seasons of Reboot if he decided to be a blue glam rock frontman. You get what I'm going for, people that are listening.
Like, it just had it, like, it gave me like big Bonavega vibes, like just like hyper 80s, hyper gender bendy, hyper like everything.
Yeah, they are blue with green hair in fabulous makeup, wearing 80s glam rock fashion and leather harnesses.
It is literally Bonavega.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Like, anyone, like, seriously, think Captain Planet and then put them in 80s drag.
100%.
And it is literally the exact character. So our titular hero here manages to break free, and it destroys some like rhino looking robot, because it turns out that this man's actually the robot from before. That was the servant. Twist.
Well, there was the stupid locket that he had.
Yeah, I guess they upgraded him into like a super powered android or like humanoid body.
Sure.
Which, like, I mean, you got to give the fans a nice face to look at, right?
I guess.
I mean, someone might be sexually attracted to Gundams and mechs and stuff, but it
is true. I have seen a documentary on that.
What?
I think it was people who were like attracted to cyborgs or had some sort of like
that's a bit different than a mecha.
Oh yeah, holy shit, yeah.
I thought you said there was a documentary about people like looking at like, I don't know, the Tallgeese Gundam and just being like, oh yeah.
I can hear our listener numbers dropping.
Anyways, we get another epic fight scene with some sick 80s synth while our superhuman protagonist breaks free and fights Mr. Glamrock. The two exchange blows in like a little all-out battle before our hero beats his ass so bad that he despawns. Is the only way I can put that?
I think that's an accurate way of putting it.
I don't know. You've obviously never played Fortnite. I've played some Fortnite before. When you die, there's a weird lighty thing that happens and your body disappears. It's basically the same thing in this.
Okay, cool.
And so our blue-haired girl is saved and she awakens being held in the arms of our hero. And she hugs him with tears in her eyes and a smile on her face when she sees, he's got her locket. Oh, it's her robot butler from before. This one felt like a longer music video set to like a badass song. And it makes sense that it was so badass, considering the director and character designer is Hidetoshi Omori, who has been part of so much crazy shit that when you look at their resume, you have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And then you're like, oh, I'm done the section. And then there's a new category and you keep scrolling. So it makes sense that the director for this one and character designer is so well known because it's so fucking cool. This is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Excellent. Really?
I love this one. Who needs voices when you have music and sound effects like this one? I would watch 100%. An extended series about this. Obviously, you'd need voices for an extended series, but I would watch the shit out of this guy and this girl traveling around kicking the asses of this like glam rock robot invasion.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
It almost makes me think of like that. Oh gosh, I don't remember the name of it, but Daft Punk had an animated movie. It kind of feels like a shorter version of like that, just like some sci-fi funky music.
Oh, Interstellar 5555.
Yes, that's it.
Yes. Honestly, it kind of looks like Interstellar.
Yeah.
I would absolutely watch this as a full movie. Like I said, I love this one. I sat there, I watched it twice because I just got so into it. I didn't take a single fucking note.
You're like, oh shit, I had to take notes for this.
I was just like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Because like animating the amount of action going on there was an intense job and it was so well done. I loved it.
Wow, you gave it 10 out of 10.
Yeah, what about you? What'd you give it?
Like an 8?
Well, with a score like that, you deserve to have what happened in the start of our next one happen to you. Ooh.
Wow. My head taken off and used as a soccer ball? Rude.
I keyed. But also, what the fuck is this next one?
Yeah, I don't really know.
I wrote 2 pages of notes on this, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to say all this.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, whoa, this is intense. And then I was like, there must be like some big kicker at the end. And then I was like, okay.
Yeah, so this one is called Presence. And it starts with a group of youths knocking the head off of a human-looking robot and playing kickball with it. And then it just like, for no reason they do that. There's nothing to the story.
Yeah,
no
nothing.
Point of it.
Nope.
It just like, ba-doo-ba-doo. So anyways, so...
It just like off the bat is like, hey guys, there's going to be robots in this one. And we're like, oh, okay, thanks guys.
Yeah, the robot carnival, another one has robots in it. Wow.
Oh, thanks for that establishing shot.
So we get this like piano heavy intro while we watch a man eat soup with a spoon that is far too large.
I genuinely was like, is this a different segment now?
I legitimately had to go to the Wikipedia and check if I missed something for the segment numbers.
Yep.
So
okay,
anyways,
good. I'm glad we both
he's eating soup. Thing. Yeah, and he's complaining about the heat, and his creepy looking daughter with really dead eyes like walks up to him and is like, "Have a good day, father. I'm leaving now for school."
Enough to make me never want children.
It was weird.
Because she's not a robot, is she?
No, she's human.
Okay, because I definitely... Oh, okay, no, my note was just scary schoolgirl.
Yeah, she was just creepy.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads into one of the descriptions of the show where it says that he doesn't get any closeness from his family.
Yeah, it's arrested emotional development was, I think, the word or the term that I read to kind of describe this character.
Yeah. We get this internal monologue about how he's jealous of his wife because she works so hard. She would put any man to shame. She's top in her career. But this isn't a bad thing. We hear him say the line, "My colleagues think I'm a feminist," which I agree with. And I was like, oh, I'm glad he doesn't let his wife's success upset him. We stand a confident king.
Hell yeah. And he says that, he talks about how his career wife has to deal with the same sexist shit that's still going on today.
But then we get this weird thing where he's like, another internal monologue, "I never had a mother, so I sought femininity in my wife," which he doesn't think he's getting because she's a career woman. So while he envies her, he doesn't think of her as feminine because she's a career woman. And I was like, bro, come on.
You were so close.
You were so close. And then to make things weirder, it turns out he has a weird abandoned house that he goes to where he's been building a robot dressed as a young girl. It's kind of creepy.
Madonna.
So my exact description of this girl is as follows in my notes.
Okay, I'm so ready.
The robot girl looks like a cotton candy cottagecore punk rock version of Lunette the Clown from Big Comfy Couch meets Robin Sparkles from How I Met Your Mother.
Accurate. Oh my gosh.
She could be a Clow card almost.
Yeah,
if we put her in like clown makeup.
Yeah, I mean she has the dead eyes.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. She's cool looking.
Oh yeah.
But she's also creepy.
Very creepy.
And she asks, "What's my name?" And he just meows at her as if that's her name for some reason, which is she's like, "What's my name?" He's like, "Meow." Just smiles at her. And I was like, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah. Could you imagine if she was just like, "Oh, okay, programmed to say my name is meow."
Right? Well, at first I was like, okay, he's not getting femininity from his wife and he's not close to this family. This is clearly a sex robot. That's what I thought it was. But then I was like, okay, maybe it's also like a love robot. But then she literally looks at him and goes, "I want to fall in love." And he gets surprised because he goes, "What the fuck? I didn't program you to say any of that."
Which I was like, then why did you make her?
And like he sits down at this table confused that she's like saying these things that he didn't program her to say. And I want to know what you did program her to say. Are you being a creep, boy? Are you a creep?
Yeah.
You never really get to know. And so he's sitting at this table full of like children's toys, which is also a little weird. And I don't mean like figures and action. I mean like a child robot toy and like a child alien thing, like weird, like toddler toys.
Yeah. I was like, is this guy like a toy designer? Like, what is this?
I don't know. But so she jumps on the table and she calls him a little boy. She demands to know what she exists for and says she wants to be closer to him and have exciting experiences all of her own free will.
Mm-hmm.
The man quickly stands up from the table, moves to a corner, and ponders as she embraces him from behind, and he just fucking yeets her into a mirror on the other wall.
Yeah, as you do with your automatas that just start asking you shit that you didn't program them to do.
Well, he gets real freaked out by this.
Yeah.
That she,
which I mean, fair. If it's like, maybe it's treading into like that AI kind of territory of like,
yeah,
I don't know, kind of realizing
and it also
their
means
existence.
Yeah, and clearly he does love his wife, and this is not a sex robot.
Yeah.
I think he was just using it to have someone to talk to, that because he couldn't talk to his wife or his kids or something. But
yeah, I would agree with you there.
He freaks the fuck out. Instead of just reprogramming her or something, you see him grab a wrench as he stares down at her on the ground after having thrown her into a mirror. And then the scene ends with what we can only assume was him beating the absolute fuck out of this robot.
Yeah, just destroying it.
And so it jumps like 20 to 30 years in the future. He's sitting on his porch while his like daughter and granddaughter head off for the day or whatever.
Yeah.
And
if it wasn't for his like insane, like slopey forehead straight to his nose, I was like, who's this old man? And then I was like, oh, it's the same guy, but just with like jellyfish eyebrows now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that.
His eyebrows?
Well, just in the everything in general. So he dozes off. He has this dream of his long forgotten robot girl standing across from him, and then she like casually explodes while like saying that she's still waiting for her prince. And so he's like, oh shit, is she alive? Oh no. And so he goes to his old abandoned workshop and finds her on the floor with like a hole in her chest. I don't know how you put a hole in someone's chest with a wrench, but he did
found
it.
a way. Science, that's how.
And he just like stares at her with like the sadness in her eyes. And here's what I don't understand. It's been like 20 or 30 years, but her clothes and her hair and her overall state is like
flawless.
Yeah, real good.
No
minus
dust.
Like the holes in her body that he put in her.
Yeah.
But so he's like, oh, okay. She's dead. Good to know.
Yeah, right. She hasn't moved.
Yeah, another 10 or 15 years in the future, and he's old as balls now.
Yeah, like super old as balls.
He's sitting on his porch. He sees his creation again in front of him, and his wife walks out and sees him and her, sees both of them walking away hand in hand as they fade into the ether. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck did I just watch? Am I too stupid to get it?
Yeah, like, I think this had what you've called in the past OVA syndrome, where it's like it needed more in order to flesh out these.
There's no fucking context.
Yeah, I think if this had even like 20 minutes or whatever, just to really add more development into the plot, it would make more sense. But just, you know, where it was at, I was like, it doesn't really effectively tell you a coherent story.
I need to know why he built the robot. Give me an exact monologued reason why he built the robot. We didn't even get that. Like, unless we are both really fucking dumb, then we missed something, then okay, sure. As it stands, here's my rating. 3 out of 10 if I'm smart, 5 out of 10 if I'm stupid.
Okay, here's my rating. Animation, 10 out of 10. Story, yeah, probably 3 out of 10.
Yeah, the girl was the best animated part of all of this, and she barely moved. Don't get me wrong. It was beautiful to look at.
Oh, absolutely. So it was absolutely stunning.
But it's just the story was so bad. Oh my God. And again, maybe I'm missing some context here.
Yeah. And I mean,
3 out of 10.
Anybody listening, if you have a puzzle piece that we're missing, please tweet at us or email us or whatever, because we would love to know. Both of us are doing research and both of us are like, me there.
It made me so annoyed. So stupid. We got more of these to get onto, so I'm going to stop talking about this thing that stresses me out.
I mean, the next one's a cute one.
That is my second favorite, or is fighting for first in my list of favorites.
I like how both of them are the music video ones, are your favorites.
Who knew? So this one is called Starlight Angel.
Woo!
We start with a montage of 2 super cool girls exploring a super cool looking theme park. Woo! Set to a very, as expected, 80s pop soundtrack.
Hell yeah.
And one girl, as she's running around, drops her locket containing a photo of a boy that a nearby robot picks up as they run to meet the one girl's new boyfriend for the first time. Now, here's something I'm going to say, okay?
Okay.
This one had no like vocals in it, and I still understood from just the animation that she was saying, hey, my new boyfriend's here. You should come meet him.
Yeah.
This in that 10-second clip
communication
had more communication and story than all of the entire last fucking one we watched. Anyways, well, they go to run off to meet this girl's new boyfriend for their first time, and holy fucking plot twist, it turns out the girl's best friend's new boyfriend is her boyfriend.
That slut.
I am, no, of course not. I'm not mad at the girl. She didn't know.
No, I'm calling
but also,
the dude
how
a
do you...
slut.
Oh, okay. Not that being a slut's a bad thing, but in this case, it is.
Yeah. This way,
in this case, it
a
is.
derogatory term.
How do you not know what your best friend's boyfriend looks like first off?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not mad at the girl. I'm mad at the guy. He sucks.
Yeah.
Because like the girl that he's cheating on seemed so cute and sweet. She's animated to just be like this absolute darling.
She has blonde pigtails.
Yeah. And like little rosy, like adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like a truck full of used douche. Thankfully, the friend agrees with this statement and smacks the shit out of this guy while her friend runs away crying and somehow ends up in a virtual reality ride.
Yeah, and like a bunch of creepy robot hands like put her on the ride, which I was like, I'm not okay with that.
I guess it's just how it works in this theme park. She ends up flying through the city while like all these robots appear around her and fly with her, and like the robot that had found her locket is also there. That he's like flying around with her. And unfortunately, when he goes to give her the locket, it triggers, oh shit, I'm having a bad day. I guess this ride reads your emotions because real quick, it all turns evil and a giant mecha robot is spawned, which looks like a robot from hell.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I want a model of it. Give me the Mecha Gundam Gunpla model of this shit.
The guy who did the directing for this one was a character designer for Zeta Gundam. So it makes sense that they would have really like awesome mechas.
This is like a Gundam mixed with a demon, and I love it. You can see some gut pieces here and there. I would use my Gundam markers to make those gooey looking. It'd be great. So single school as hell. And the robot from before like saves her from like one of the attacks, and it's revealed that he's actually just a man in a costume.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, is this, or I like, because I was like, is this just the same one as before, but just like a different?
It turns out he's not a robot.
No, he's just a creature actor.
Yeah, exactly. He gets his ass kicked real hard, but he turns the favor because as he gets knocked to the ground, he finds the girl's locket, and because this is a virtual reality world and you can do whatever you want, he transforms it into a giant glowy sword and kicks the demon mecha's ass.
Hell yeah. That's how you win the girl.
Fuck yeah. Well, clearly he did, because we cut to 11:10 right after the park is closed and the two girls are hugging and they're still friends because girls stick together.
Hell yeah. That's not their fault. It's his fault.
Exactly. And she sees him walk out of the park and she runs over and she like gives him a big hug and introduces her friend to him. This was sweet. It was quick. It was cool. The music was great. The sound effects were great. The animation was on par with Deprive, if not a little bit smoother at times. But it was cute, which is a weird way to describe it, but it was just, I liked it. I was a fan of this one. I would probably give this like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, and apparently, oh gosh, Hiroyuki he like was very much inspired by Aha's music video for Take On Me, and you can very much see that in this.
Oh yeah. And there are characters from the movie Akira used as background characters in this that you can see if you really focus, kind of like in the lines for rides and stuff.
Okay, well,
yeah,
I need to see those characters. Let's take screenshots.
Yeah, a little Easter egg for you there.
I love it.
But yeah, I love the designs of this one. Seriously, I would absolutely watch this as like a sci-fi slice of life series.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Every week it's just like someone going on this like VR ride.
Oh no, I want it to follow the same girls because I love the designs, especially the yellow jacket friend.
Oh yeah.
She just seems like a cool badass.
Hell
and
yeah.
I don't know what would happen in this, but it feels like it would somehow be related to virtual reality mixed with like Sailor Moon, mixed with Gundam. I don't care. In my mind, it sounds great just because I like the look and all the music of this. There'd obviously have to be dialogue for it. It was shorter than the last one. It had no audio, and it still made way more fucking sense.
Yeah, it unfortunately did.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I would say, I'd probably give this the same as Deprive, is 8 out of 10.
Damn, we can't get a 10 out of 10 out of you anywhere.
Okay, but that's just like a personal thing. I don't know. I don't believe in perfection. I don't know. I never give anything a 10 out of 10.
That's fine. The next one is called Cloud.
Yeah.
And here, okay. It looks like an animated manga panel or like an animated storyboard about a robot traveling through time, seeing the history of humans, one background art at each generation or whatever. And at the end, he meets an angel who turns the robot human, I guess.
I guess.
Don't get me wrong. It's beautifully drawn for the style that it's in.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's kind of neat to see, as a little robot goes back through time and yada, yada, yada. But like, if it was a full series where it was like literally a robot got sent back in time and they had to live through all of it so that they could decide if they actually wanted to become human or not, as like some sort of like conscious and like self-awareness thing, that'd be a cool little series. And as beautiful as this is, I don't know why it's included. It just seemed kind of like filler.
Yeah, at the beginning of it, I was like, oh, this is really beautiful. Like, I'm really interested in seeing where this goes. And then, about 60% of the way through it, I was like, all right, let's pick it up.
Yeah, it's the same robot in the corner walking as the background changes.
Mm-hmm. And it drove me nuts that the framing was off center.
Yes, and it kept like moving slightly off center more and more in different parts.
Yep, did not like that.
Yeah, this one is hard to rate, so I'm just not going to.
Yeah, well, just say it's their least favorite of all of the ones.
Yeah, we move into our next one, which is funny. Strange Tales of Meiji Machine Culture, Westerners Invasion.
Oh man, this one was a hoot.
Set around Japan in the Meiji era, so this one I believe is in the 1900s, probably 1910, because the Meiji era, I believe you told me, was 1912. It ended. We start with a track heavily inspired by the theme to Strange Science. And a town being terrorized by a wood-clad robot driven by a Westerner who plans to take over Japan. He's just having a blast trampling this small town.
It. Like, if he could have, like, if you could think of the best day ever, that would be what this man is doing. Like, he is living his best day.
Oh, yeah. And he's just, like, yelling out his plans for, like, Japanese and world domination, and no one can understand him because they're literally like, do you speak English? Like, no. They're like looking at a translation book trying to translate it.
Yeah, he's like, English is hard to translate, but it's even harder when it's over megaphone.
Yeah. So he's destroying this town. We cut to a group of youths hijacking another wood-clad parade robot that works off a series of gears and coal/steam power.
Yep.
It's not built for battle. It's very rudimentary. And I say this very loosely when I say they charge into battle.
They attempt to charge into battle.
They hobble one slow leg movement at a time into battle. The Westerner robot calls them out for daring to challenge his genius and gets out of the cockpit, walks up to the shoulder. Because again, this is the 1810s. There's no like crazy fancy tech like this. 1910s. And he loads a cannon and shoots the cannon because it's not automated, because it's not an actual robot. And so he shoots it and he like blows a hole in the chest of the other robot. And they're like, oh shit, what do we do? And one guy's like, well, this is a parade robot. Look at this firework barrel. And so they use a firework barrel to blast into this other robot. Unfortunately, it has bricks under the wood.
Yeah, that was intense. But I was also like, how is this robot moving this well?
I love that they use next to no metal in these robots.
None. Like, it's fantastic.
Brick plating underneath the wood.
It's like the cogs are metal, but...
Yeah, but fortunately, that hit does knock open his explosive cannonball shelf, causing him to spill out and blow up his ass, disabling him for a little bit.
Oh no, there's just cannonballs everywhere.
Unfortunately, there are a bunch of dumb teenagers dealing with this other robot and who can't stop bickering with each other enough to finish the job. So we get this scene where like the Westerner is in his robot and he's like goes to his like where he has all of his fuel to power it, which is like it was like a gunpowder electrolysis system or something.
I'm
not
really
sure what it was, but he has to charge it up again. So he jumps on a bike, and as this is happening, the other guy's like, "Oh crap, we need more coal." And they both manage to get their rides a little bit of fuel to move forward again into what I have listed here as the slowest mecha battle in history.
Yeah, it definitely is not going anywhere fast.
No, and this is, of course, it's just fisticuffs. So it's basically Rock'em Sock'em Robots if it was made out of wood.
It's steampunk Rock'em Sock'ems.
Yeah. And thankfully, both robots get destroyed, but the Westerner's robot falls into a river, I'm assuming killing the scientist. So while both robots are destroyed, the kids have technically won, I guess, even though they cause damage in their city as well. And here's the thing. If I had a city and the option was 100% get of it damaged or 50% gets damaged because another robot comes and helps us, I'll take that option.
Yeah, 100%.
But the kids are still worried that like people are going to be mad at them for it. It's like, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
This was cute.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one.
I'm a big Gundam fan, so watching funny wooden robots slowly fight each other was enjoyable for me. The kids badgering each other and making little small jokes along the way was cute and fun. I'd probably give this like a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I'll probably give it about a 7.
You heard it here, folks. I'm no longer the big Gundam fan, apparently. Lindsay's the bigger Gundam fan, even though she's never, I don't think, ever seen Gundam.
No, I haven't.
We'll change that one day.
I know you will.
Just waiting for the right moment.
Oh, yeah.
Can't do robots and then robots, of course.
Who says?
Speaking of more robots.
Oh, man.
The next episode.
This one was my favorite.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This one.
Is it interesting?
I don't know. Let's see what the people think. So we start with a massive robot appearing in the sky at night, wreaking havoc on a city, while a robot magician is flying on a bicycle and transforming mundane objects into thousands of unique looking robots. Like, yeah, they're all unique.
They just have such cool shapes and movement, and I don't know, I loved them.
Oh, they were great. And so a drunken man on the street, apparently the only person on the street at this time, awakens to see what is happening and like tries to scooter away, but is confronted by a robot magician who chases him through the streets in like a comical game of like robot cat and drunken mouse.
Yeah, it was so fun. And like the way that it paired with the music was, I don't know, I just found it so entertaining.
Yeah, it was a good time because like the man is just giving her. And he's getting beat around and knocked around, but he's still going. While this game is happening, we get these like scenes of robots partying and building more robots inside the giant robot in the sky, like fish robots, creepy flesh robots. There are so many designs. Like, seriously, the amount of robot designs in this is probably in the hundreds.
It's incredible. It kind of made me think of like Mickey Mouse in Fantasia.
Oh my God, that's my next note.
Really?
Yeah. It's sci-fi robot Fantasia.
Yeah, 100%.
But way more intense.
Oh man.
And like I was sitting here watching and I was like, with the amount of moving pieces that are going on with all of these robots, the amount of animation and time it would have taken to have done this, you got to throw some respect on the name because it's incredible. That's intense. And I was like, damn, don't let Mappa see this. And now you don't know who Mappa is. Mappa is a studio that is notorious for basically being like, hi, you animate for us, you're never going to see your family again. Work for the next 40 years straight and never go home. So please do not let the Mappa people see this, or else they're going to try finding these old ass animators and take them away from their grandkids for the rest of their life.
Chain them to a
desk. So the man gets away finally because the sun begins to rise and the robots begin to panic. And the world kind of like reverts back to how it was before the invasion.
Yeah, I guess the robots are like vampires and just can't come out during the daytime.
Well, here's the thing that bothered me. There's no destruction, there's no robots, or so it seems until you get above the thick fog and we see the remnants of the destruction and all the robots hanging out and sticking on the buildings as the people live their lives as if nothing's going on until like I assume Larry arrives to work on the 67th floor early and looks out the window and sees this robot hellscape. But we don't get that far. It just kind of ends with them being hidden amongst the fog, ignoring the fact that people do travel up elevators higher above in buildings.
Yeah, those are details you don't need to. Who cares?
Yeah. As a story, it's a bit confusing. I think it would have benefited from a bit of dialogue, but preferably it would have benefited from more screen time. Like, I want to know more about this robot magician, where he came from and what he does and what he can do, because he's so cool. You never see robots using magic in that way, where it's like, I'm a robot with magic and I point at that thing, and all of a sudden the wires in that car come out and become a whole new robot.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of like, there is a thing in Transformers where I believe they can like shoot a beam at like a car and it becomes a transformer or something. But this one's different. This is if they're like taking apart the cars into like 10 different robots. But it was cool. I enjoyed this one. It was a pretty good time. I gave it like probably like a 7 out of 10.
Oh, I would have been like 8.5 or 9.
It was neat. It suffered in some areas with the storytelling, and the music was really good and the animation was really good. So I think a 7 or a 7.5 is pretty fair. The next one we get is our ending, which just shows the robot carnival giant robot tank thing traveling across the desert until it gets stuck trying to get over a large sand dune.
Yeah, I guess it like weirdly bottoms out or something and it can't just like get over that hump.
And it just like fully implodes and falls apart.
Oh.
And we get the credits and I was like, oh, okay, that's the end. Sure. But then there's a post-credit scene where a scavenger finds an orb in the sand and he brings it back to his family. One of which happens to be that kid from the first intro. And he opens it and it's a tiny little ballet dancer and like a little orb, and it's moving across the table dancing, and everyone's staring at it in awe. If you remember what I mentioned about the dancers in the beginning of this second part of the episode, they're suicide bombers. And it proceeds to blow up the entire house, killing everyone except for the horse and leaving the words end on the screen in like house parts.
Oh. Amazing.
And honestly, because it's simple and it's funny, I gave the ending a 7 out of 10. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
It was a nice closure to all of this.
Technology will ruin us all.
This is a weird ass thing that you suggested because it's so all over the place, but yet it's so good at times. Mm-hmm. Like, I've come out of this wanting more of some of it and a lobotomy to remove memories of other parts.
Wow, that's a review.
But the parts I loved, I absolutely loved.
Oh yeah, they were very entertaining.
I would say watch this, if not just for those few sequences of just absolutely insane animation, wildly effective music, and just like crazy, I don't know, just crazy action scenes and just crazy shit going on. I think it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I feel like if you are in art school, I feel like this should be necessary watching. Just because it is such a cool, diverse piece of media that gives you these really interesting experimental ways of telling stories and stuff. I don't know. I think it's really cool, and I think it's very much like it's good to have these references like in your repertoire, I guess.
Yeah, you're never going to get anything like this again. Because any modern animation that would do this would have used 3D animation for a lot of the backgrounds, on a lot of like the scene changes, and like the 360 spins would all be done on like a 3D set done to look like hand-drawn animation. You couldn't get something like this the way that it's done at all. You just aren't going to get it in most modern day anime. Not to say modern day anime and digital drawing, of course, is a bad medium. It's absolutely not. It's fantastic. But you're not going to get that raw, just like fantastically hand-drawn animation that you get in this and things like Akira and all that jazz in modern day. It's not worth it for budget and all that jazz for a lot of studios.
Would you almost say that like automation and robotics kind of have ruined or
for
whoa, it's almost like a metaphor that was done in this whole entire movie.
It's a metaphor that they didn't actually know was going to be a metaphor for the future of animation.
Yep, 100%. I think it's really cool.
I think you're right. I love that. Want to reiterate, I love a lot of modern stuff.
Oh,
There's a lot of good stuff that's done. Most stuff's done digitally because it makes more sense. It's still hand-drawn, of course, You still, when you're doing it digitally, you have to hand draw it. But there's just it's just pen to paper. There's this raw difference.
Yep. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love being able to see like the marker strokes and, just the different types of mediums that were used to create
the slight fuck
things.
ups when like one line just kind of accidentally extends over a little bit here and there.
Yeah,
it looks great.
I love that.
Hell fucking yeah. So thank you for having me watch this, because I probably never would have watched it on my own, because I would have opened up that first intro part and heard those stupid chipmunk voices and been like, nope, no fucking way. And just closed it down. So you've opened my eyes to some great 80s stuff.
Hell yeah. Well, I try my best.
You done good, kid. You done good.
You can trust me to bring the weird and the underground to this podcast.
I've given you a positive point on my April Fool's Day scale.
Oh, thank goodness.
Because I'm in charge of our April Fool's episode, and I have a scale deciding on how bad you're gonna get in.
Oh man. Well, just know that how bad you do April Fool's will be how I pick the things for the rest of the year. So.
Oh no. Well, now I gotta be real careful.
I know. Anyways,
so do you.
I know. This movie, the overall rating for it on average.
I'm gonna guess.
Okay. You tell me what you guess. I'm going by IMDb.
IMDb? Interesting.
Yep, there's 2,900 reviews.
I'm going to say 6.98 is what the general public gave it.
Oh, you're really close. It's 6.8.
Ooh, damn, I am close. Well, the My Anime List score with 9,000 reviews is a 7.23.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm close either way. So that's pretty great. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
I would agree with the trailer that says this is the animation event of the year for
when it 87. Came out in 87, yeah. Oh, it's done by Discotheque Media. They're releasing a bunch of new stuff upcoming here that they are remastering. So maybe we're going to see a remaster of this, which would be pretty neat, because boy, it's a little rough of a release on Crunchyroll. It's not the most highest of quality scannage. I mean, it's still
better than streaming it from some random pirate site.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I feel like if you're going to watch this movie, you need to watch it in like good quality.
Yeah, you do. Don't go on like, I was about to say the streaming sites, which we can get in trouble for. So don't go on those streaming websites that you can watch a bunch of anime for free on. Instead, check it out on Crunchyroll, where it's actually a decent quality.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it doesn't have a lot of dialogue, so you really do need to be able to like visually take in.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, anything else you want to say about this, or should we take people on
nothing.
Out? Let's take people out. All right.
Ooh, so where are you taking us?
Oh, I meant like pew pew, take him out.
Oh, where are you burying us?
I meant John Wick.
Are you burying us at Animates on all of the socials?
Wow, way to shoehorn it and jump the gun. Oh my gosh. I was going to say, if you guys have any cool hot takes on this, on Robot Carnival, you should let us know and tweet us or Instagram us or TikTok us, all that fun social media stuff. We would love to hear your interpretations and like, which one was your favorite? I liked, Redneck and Chicken Man, and Mackenzie liked Deprive and what is it? My Sweet Angel?
Starlight Angel.
Starlight Angel. So if you have a different one, let us know. And if you can give us more insight into the metaphors for presents, that would be excellent.
There's probably nothing.
Yeah. I mean, we could be missing something. I don't know. But yes. Thank you all for being here and staying and listening to us week after week. Make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform and rate us 5 stars. It really helps us. And we really appreciate it. I think that's all we got for this week. So I think we're going to power down now. We'll see you next week for some more antics.
And just so you can feel what I went through in case you don't plan on watching this, here are the chipmunk voices.